Malo, how are you, Aupito?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate having you at our inaugural summit and to have your, to bring your talanoa and to talk to the crowd about what we are doing as a people, as a collective. Yeah, to have your mana here is really important, so we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you could tell us, you've got a very deep CV of what you've done, but maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh gosh, I feel like I'm one of those people that have been born twice. First time was through my mother, which was being born in Samoa.
Yes.
And then later on rebelling, my parents' teachings around culture, and then being reborn again.
Yes.
After living in Aotearoa, New Zealand, working with the trade union movement, not only in Aotearoa, New Zealand, but across the South Pacific region, and just witnessing a lot of bad and harm on our people across the region, then learning from the elders what had happened, history, which led me to being pushed into being a city councillor for Manukau City, that beloved city of ours, ending up being the mayor, deputy mayor of Manukau City, and then the Labour Party, whom I had been involved with for a long time, asking me to stand as an MP. So next thing, after 9 years of being in opposition, I was ready to get into government or get out of there. And when I got that opportunity, I took advantage of it, knowing that, you know, time is short. You got to make hay while the sun is shining. Made use of it to try and get as much investment to lift the well-being of our communities, and then deciding when, you know, you got to watch the leaves and watch the stars, what's going to happen, and recognizing now the elders are right, got to pick when you exit, and now is a good time. You know, because you're starting to feel like I'm repeating the same arguments over and over again to people that you know and trust, and that's not a good thing. Then leaving that and then spending a year as strategic advisor to the regional director for the WHO, Western Pacific region, and then finding that's not really me traveling all that much. And now I'm really quite happy chairing a couple of community initiatives and being available to my grandkids who are just overjoyed for me just turning up. They just accept it. They're not worried about what you did out there. And now I'm thinking I've got to just take my time and look after myself. But I have a new passion during the Huia Motu, when I was asked by King Ito Heitia if I would share some thoughts. And I just realized then, gosh, this is our home, but we're not really engaging and understanding the true history of Māori and sharing with them our whakapapa and our connection. So that's where I'm at the moment.
Yeah, I've been privileged. I was brought up in Tokoroa, so I had a lot of Samoan friends, but we were so immersed in culture. You knew no different. Like to the point where I remember the South African rugby team coming to play King Country, and I saw all these white people. I was like, what? I was so. Culture was just so embedded in Tokoroa, and there was a lot of Samoan. I've still got a lot of Samoan friends down there.
I think that generation, we were quite fortunate in the 70s, where you spoke Samoan at home. You spoke Samoan around your family, and I think Dr. Peter Sharples recognised that Samoans and Tongans were speaking Samoan on an everyday basis in South Auckland, whereas Māori was losing and coming out of a bad period, that many didn't speak the language. But I would say, now that we've been here a few generations, I'm seeing my grandkids and my younger nieces and nephews where they understand some bits and pieces, but slowly the English-speaking world is so dominating that if you're not mindful, you lose that part of yourself.
And indigenous cultures, like I lived in the Middle East, and the language of business is English. Arabic is important to them, but English because of pure necessity to engage in the world, but they're doing lots to protect the language within their regions. And I've got to, through education, like I've been in the Cook Islands last year, they do it beautifully. You know, they have a lot of Cook Island Māori speakers in schools. The kids are speaking it, especially out on the Pahenua. Your lessons that you're carrying in for your moko, they're so vital that we actually take action. And that's where education is so important to me, because it's a hub that we can. I worked in Manerua, the intermediate there, beautifully run. That execution of individual cultures and then immersed into collective is a beautiful representation of that. I
think this is a good time, I believe, for the next generation of Māori and Pasifika, or for people who value indigenous cultures and languages. This is a good time to grow up, despite the war in Iran, despite how this government has behaved towards Māori. I think globally there's a movement amongst indigenous cultures to stand up and be counted. A lot more of our traditional education institutions are starting to recognize the value of indigenous learnings, indigenous frameworks, indigenous leadership. And what's happening here is you've got a group of people who value their indigenous wellness, but are also applying it in a business model that we've often had bad experiences with, because it's so much about the the funding cycle, the profit margins, and not about people. And we bring something very different to business. So I think this is a good time.
It's been a guiding light. And we've had to push back. We recognise long term it won't work.
That's right.
You build a P&L over a year, but you don't build a business over a year.
So we're no longer just accepting those colonizing ideas and colonized ways as the only solution. We're now saying that might be fine for you, but it's not fine for us. And here's how we would do it.
Oh man, this could go on, but that is a beautiful segue. I think this summit was built out of not just need, but desire. You've just touched on it. People, this is the time. For you coming into our summit today and being part of this, what would be one bit of advice that you could give?
To do what?
Well, around probably exactly what you've talked to, and the fact is like, what does it look like?
I think Professor Dury hit the nail on the head when he responded to one of the questions from our young people there. And he says, maintain your indigenous space, maintain your indigeneity, if there is such a word. And I think that's probably the best takeaway from this, not just for the young people, but from all of us, because the world is so dominating in the English world that so many of us need to push that back. And to do that, you have to feel really confident about your own values, your own context, and the things that that your parents try to pass on to you while you were rebelling.
The irony is if I was fast, I would go and use that skill that makes me unique. And I would hopefully aim to build impact. If I'm a fast runner, I could be a rugby winger or a sprinter. No one pushes back, but our indigenous identity actually is the same thing.
Look, and I think, you don't want to be hard on ourselves, because if you look at the years of history, people whose culture was to dominate and take away from others, that was deliberate. It's not our way. Our way is about families. It's about looking after the whole village. It's a collective approach, but the individual approach of the colonizers, they made it sound like they were the right people. They are the only ones with the answer. So now, in this decade, we're saying no. You might have, that might have been okay for you in those days. It's no longer okay for us. It's no longer okay for our next generation.
This could go on for a long time, but Pawhita, I love your mahi. I love what you stand for, and we really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. One day.